Shi Heng Yi, thank you so much for taking this moment to be with me. That's your name, but to me you've been over the last few days Shifu. I've been here at your Shaolin Temple being 100% a student, and it's been amazing to learn from you. And what I've enjoyed most is the fact that, and even you said it, what there is to teach mostly is the same, but there's so many different perspectives. I would love to ask you your perspective on, like you say, climbing the mountain, the first path everyone has to take to mastering themselves, to knowing themselves. What is the first path?
Okay. So maybe it can be expressed in a lot of different ways, but the main point is like this. Sometimes we call it, you must always take the perspective of staying a student, which means, what is the characteristic of staying a student? It means you're always continuously looking, let's say, for answers. You are realizing for yourself and putting yourself in the right perspective in this world that there's still so much possible to learn. And it's not about that you need to become good in everything. It's not even talking about this. But it is the general attitude to keep an open mind, and sometimes we say really stay humble. Stay humble because each one of us, we're really, really small in this universe. And so the starting point is put yourself in the right perspective in order to open you up that if there are new things to be discovered, you need to be open to realize them. And that means to always have this attitude of continuously walking through this life and always with the ability to learn something new. This is, I would say, is the starting point. Once you have this openness, then the next question really is up to you. In which area, for example, would you now like to make new discoveries? Or if you have any specific area already where you say, okay, I saw these things, I heard about these things, I'm really interested to know more about them. Then this also comes to the question of how do you find, let's say, the right teacher. Yeah? So this is also a very crucial part, and a simple way to, let's say, choose your teacher or instructor or trainer or however you're calling it is just by having this guideline of 2 questions. Number 1, look for somebody where you think he is possessing the abilities and the skills you want to learn. This is number 1. Yeah. And the second part is that you now actually, if you have time, you meet him, you talk to him, you get a feeling for how his character is, but more importantly actually is you ask people that know this teacher, that know this master for a long time, and you have a look at them and see if his students, so the closest persons in his life, if they nearly possess some of the skills that this teacher has. Because it's a difference between people possessing skills and possessing knowledge, and then also the ability to transmit this to another person, meaning to teach it. Because in a way it brings you nothing that you meet somebody who has all the skills, but he does not want to teach, or he does not know how to teach, or many of these ways. So that's why the 2 questions are, is he in possession of the skill that I want? And second of all, is he able to transmit it? So, and once you met a person like this, then you ask him if you can learn from him.
I 100% agree with that. And so many people are good at selling the idea of what they can teach you, but they don't actually have the skills to be able to teach you, and I think it's very different. Something that has been the theme over the last few days has been, for 6 to 7 hours every day, has been fitness. And I've learned fitness all my life. I've been an athlete all my life in different disciplines, but I've learned so much about fitness from you, but in a new perspective. Mostly that fitness, what I have understood is that fitness is so incredibly spiritual, and my heart has just been opening up because I believe this already, but I would love to know your perspective and your truth around the connection between physical fitness and spiritual fitness.
Okay.
Or spiritual development, like you said earlier.
I like to think in terms of principles. So principles that apply in a way to the physical aspects, meaning the body, but also which apply, let's say, for mental aspects about the human, mind-related or emotional related. And to start this simply off, when we are looking just to have a healthy life, that's only your objective is you want to have a healthy life. So for me, it's very normal that I'm now considering, okay, healthy life is consisting of healthy body and healthy mind. Now we have access to a lot of information. What can you do nowadays in order to have a healthy body? And it's concerning the food, for example, the nutrition that you're taking to yourself. It's concerning how you are breathing. And it is also concerning the way how you are treating your body. And the same applies also now to the mental states. So when I talk about pay attention to what you are giving your body to eat, at the same time pay attention what are you giving your mind to eat. So, and this very strong relationship between body and mind is also something when it comes to any type of development, may it be mental development or spiritual development. But you see, when we just take the term development and you ask somebody in which direction would you like to develop, yeah? Normally the development is not that somebody says, well, I want to be worse than yesterday, I want to be more poor than yesterday, I want to be less vital than yesterday. In a way, it's very clear that when we talk about development, there is a direction in there. You might call this direction, it's rising. You might call it something is increasing. Or you might call it something is expanding. And now if we just look at how things are working around us, in order to reach a higher state, in order to even make the next step up the stairs, every additional step means there is more energy involved. Yeah. So if you want to increase your mental, spiritual energy, or doesn't matter how you call it, you need more energy. More energy is needed. Yeah, it's like there is the saying, when you are sleeping, it's hard to sit. When you are sitting, it's a little bit harder to stand up. When you are standing, it takes a little bit more investment to start walking. When you are walking, it takes a little bit more investment to run. When you are running, it takes a little bit more investment to jump. But now the question is, so along this way, somewhere up there maybe is flying. Yeah? So we know that flying therefore takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort. And this is what I would say is the key point why when you are having some type of fitness, or in order to achieve some fitness, but fitness now when I talk about it in terms of you feel really vital, really healthy. Energized. So fitness and energy level, they have something in common. Yeah, you won't be fit and you won't be fit if you're not somehow at the same level also energized. And this energy, that additional investment, this is what I consider as being also very, very important when it comes to mental practices and mental development, because this is what you need. Because this additional step to do something and put yourself in a state beyond the comfort zone, this is what makes you grow. It makes you grow mentally, it makes you grow physically, it makes you grow spiritually. And there's nothing you must do in all of these things. It's just if you are interested and are in resonance to develop any of these categories, the principle of how to tackle it is the same. It needs that additional step of effort. And this is essentially also what is embedded in what we call here in the monastery, for example, the Kung Fu. Yeah, the Kung Fu or the Gong is the skill, and the Fu is the hard work or the effort invested. Yeah, so you are attaining a skill by investing effort. That's essentially Kung Fu, in strong relationship to the practice of martial arts. You invest that additional going beyond your limits because you know it's going to make you grow. And well, and once you have established some character traits, let's say, some structure inside your life where it's normal in a way that you are investing this additional effort every day, then your access to use this character trait in other areas, it's more accessible.
So literally the definition of Kung Fu is getting uncomfortable and putting in effort to be able to attain new skills. Well,
Yes.
in the way you just explained, I
Yes.
don't mean the traditional definition. So much wisdom. I've never heard it said like that before, and absolutely, when it comes to energy being everything, you know, to describe the way you described it, to walk, to sit up, you have to be able to give more energy. To walk, you have to be able to give more energy. To run, I mean, that just makes total sense. That for you to develop any area of your life, ultimately to get to a spiritual level of development, it all starts with the physical energy through breath and movement. One thing you teach so much, this actually wasn't my next question, but I just feel like I want to share it. There will be thousands of people watching this. I really want to give people permission through your wisdom and your teaching to explore their own self-mastery and self-development. In movement and breathing, would you say that breath comes first? I've learned in my life that it seems that breath is the center of everything.
Yeah, if the breath stops, life stops. So it's really, really profound and very, very simple. And see, when we are now already talking about this term of energy, one key sentence that we're having in our teachings is energy follows attention. In order to create something, no matter what it is, creation needs energy. Energy follows where your intention goes. So if you want to create something, your attention must be there. You must know what you create. You must be able to have the mind that it creates something. Okay? And this is why we say in the Qigong or the internal practices, for example, actually there are 3 areas involved that are related to internal practices. First of all, we have the physical movement of the body, for example. But then very, very importantly, we have the intention of the mind, or the mental states, or how you are using the mind, and also how are you using the breath. Because breath is not just in and out. There are so many different things you are able to adjust with the breathing. And a few things, maybe you've heard about it, you can create some fire just by using the breath in the proper way. Yeah, it's very close, has similarities to the Tibetan way of the so-called tumo breathing, the fire breath, to create more heat. We need fire to create, because fire is transforming, fire is changing things. Yeah. You need fire in this life. If the fire's off, you will start to get cold. If you're getting too cold, you're not alive anymore. We need fire. At the same time, everything that burns will burn out. That's the next thing to consider. So I didn't say, and it's not the proper way, I think, to say that you always need fire. No. Sometimes there is the right timing in order to create, and sometimes it's just the right timing to let go and to forget about creation and just to let go. You cannot all the time create. And this, in a way, also turns back again to all these aspects that you maybe see in different teachings, like in Taoism. And I think it's balance that we first need to get a really good understanding of. And balance is key to many aspects, yeah. And now coming back to your question, the breath therefore is a very good entrance to realize it's not about your inhalation and it's not about your exhalation. It's about how you are using your breathing to regulate whatever you think you're able to regulate with it. It's about regulation. And for this regulation, you can use the breath as a very helpful method.
Thank you. I have one more question, is it okay?
Yes.
You spoke the other day about most people, they come into this life like this, and in all of their life, first their parents or their role models give them stuff and tell you, you are like this and life will be like this and it won't be like this, and then you end up wanting to achieve and accumulate and succeed. And you said the answer to self-mastery isn't more, it's less. It's taking all these things away. That really spoke to my soul. Would you mind just sharing it?
Okay. The main problem about living on this earth right now, or living, the problem about living is, in case you are caught in any type of preference, either you're caught in a preference or you're caught in a rejection. So that means either you are living a life where things are always adding up. It's nothing bad about it. The problem is you cannot hold it. No matter what you are attaining, you cannot hold it. It's just a question of time until you're going to lose all of this. Not only talking about money, yeah? You can spend your lifetime having a very great career, a very nice family. Financially, absolutely everything's working perfect for you. You live a really great life. But it's gonna end. Okay? Now I have to say that in the way how I see the things, how I see the breath. You inhale, afterwards you exhale. You inhale, afterwards you exhale. Now we have day, in a few hours we have night. This is continuing. It was the same for our parents, for our grandparents, and it's going to be the same for all the future generations to come. What personally for me I see is, at the moment I don't see an end to this. It's continuously exchanging. So therefore it makes no sense for me. Why should you live your life? Then happens that, let's say you die. Why suddenly should it end? This is something, it doesn't make sense to me. All the time when we look around right now, there is nothing that stays in the status quo how it is around, no matter what it is. Nothing stays how it is. So why, when you die, should you stay there? Now, I cannot speak for other people. This is now the way how I see it. Okay, and this is the main problem, let's say, why you attain something in this life, you're gonna lose it. No matter what afterwards happens, you attain something again, you lose it. You attain something again, you lose it. So the problem is that somehow, let's imagine you would walk through this up and downs for many, 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 many lifetimes. My assumption is, after it happens so often to you, you're gonna get bored of it. Somewhere that question will come, somewhere it's always the same. I invest my energy in something, but at the end I lose it again. I invest my energy again, afterwards I lose it again. So what is missing in all of this is stability. There's something stable missing. So, and this is the main part of where the attempt is leading to discover something which is stable. Self-mastery means you start to discover something which remains stable. There are no up and downs in there anymore. Whether the circumstances go up, there is something about you which is stable. If the circumstances are declining or something is decreasing, still there is something stable about you. And there is, throughout all the lifetimes, there is something stable about you. And I think when you have discovered this, even a glimpse of it, it really gives a nice confidence. And it really takes so much pressure away from your lifetime that I consider it as being very, very valuable. And that's why I practice. This is the reason why we have established all these places, to share a little bit these, let's say, ideas and concepts. But it's up to each individual. I cannot speak for this complete humanity. Yeah, it's just, I think there are ways existing. And yeah, how do you know that things are working for you? It's because things become more light for you. That's why. No matter what you do and you feel like, oh no, from day to day it feels like I have to carry more of a burden on my shoulders. Something's wrong. But when you are finding yourself on the right path, or on the path of self-mastery, I think self-mastery goes hand in hand with you become light, you become stable, you become less influenced by circumstances, because you found something stable.
And it's on the inside, not the outside.
Self-mastery, I think, doesn't differentiate anymore between inside and outside. There's only one left.
Okay, I'm not at that level yet. Just absolutely incredible. I think, to summarize what you just said, it's who self-mastery is who you are when all of the other things have been removed.
Yes. Yes.
Obviously, you provide opportunities for people to come and learn from you through retreats, weekends. You've got disciples here, people looking to be professional or advanced in your level of teaching. And I've been blessed with one of those opportunities. It's been amazing to be here. I look forward to continuing to learn from you and being your student. And I just want to say I'm extremely grateful for your time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.